Binance Live AMA. And for today, guys, I know you're pretty familiar of Waterfall. They've held several AMAs already on our community, so I know maybe some of you are familiar of them. But once again, hello to our new listeners. If you guys are new here, so it's your first time hearing about Waterfall. So let us get this AMA started by introducing our guests for today. So for today, guys, we will be joined by Mr. Sergey and Mr. Ron. So they will be the ones to introduce the project to us, of course, and will answer all of the questions that we have on this AMA session. So once again, hello, Mr. Sergey, and hello, Mr. Ron. Welcome to Crypto Astronaut once again.
Great, thank you.
Thank you for having us.
The pleasure is ours, guys. Thank you so much. So before we start with the questions, once again, I know we some of you guys may know Mr. Sergey because he attended some of our AMAs from the previous AMAs that they held. But we have now Mr. Ron. So once again, let us hear a brief introduction from Mr. Sergey and Mr. Ron. So guys, can you introduce yourself firstly for our new listeners?
Okay, well, I guess I'll go first. So I'm Ron Resnick. I have a background specifically on the technology side from Intel. I was an Intel Capital Investment Director. Prior to that, I was VP of a publicly traded online gaming and gaming company, hardware and software, and then was recruited to launch the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance. So I spent 3 years growing the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance, been involved with multiple aspects of how blockchain could be implemented using Ethereum and other technologies which I had to know about. About a year and a half ago, I was introduced to Sergey, and some of the issues that are facing the Ethereum, how it's being implemented, I felt what Sergey's doing and his team had the answers. So I ended up joining Sergey and the Waterfall Initiative. And is that we're really satisfied with all the work that we've been doing. We're just finalizing the test net, which Sergey will, of course, talk about.
Well, Ron have done a little bit of a humble introduction. Basically, Ron Resnick is the person who actually created Enterprise Ethereum Alliance. And under his leadership, Enterprise Ethereum Alliance has become the biggest alliance of enterprises surrounding any blockchain technology and all of them together. So, yeah, basically,
Thanks,
yeah,
Sergey.
Ron is a legend.
Okay.
So,
That is very nice to know. Yeah, thank you so much, guys, for the introduction. And we are very excited to have you guys here once again for another Waterfall Amy. So, guys, are you ready to take on some questions now about Waterfall?
Sure can. We're ready.
Okay, let's get into the first question. So, for our first question, um, this question is actually for Mr. Ron. So, Mr. Ron, can you provide us some insights into the future partnerships that Waterfall Network is exploring? And most importantly, how do these collaborations enhance both the capabilities and adoption of the Layer 1 protocol?
Okay, great. It's a great question. And what's most important and drives the community is the motivation, because the layer one protocol is that capable of delivering on the parameters that anyone who would want to build a DApp it can facilitate. And so what's really important to us is that we enter into agreements with partners, and that our layer one protocol works well as far as the implementation, the documentation, how simply it is, how our website is set up, so that we can really help grow an ecosystem for promoting the notion of decentralized opportunities for all the dApps that we see that will be forthcoming. So with regard to that, we've been really busy the last few months. And so I'll give you an example of some of the projects we've signed agreements with, and we have more coming. but we're looking to meet with anyone who feels they have something exciting to build and they want to build it on a protocol that is decentralized. There's no intermediate servers, and yet we can scale using the DAG capability with parallel chains that Sergei has talked about multiple times. So one of the reasons why we're doing this is we need to make sure that we have infrastructure providers globally. So if somebody wants to be a validator and use an infrastructure provider, we have multiple contracts that we are, I'll say, agreements whereby they can do that. We also have one agreement with a company. It's really interesting. They're a commodity exchange for in the agriculture vertical market. There's another one dealing with gaming. There's a lot of opportunity for gaming. Another one's middleware, which is really important because there's layer 1, there's layer 2. And tied to that, we have an agreement with more than one company for bridges, because we need to make sure we have bridges to all the other protocols. That's in place. And we're working on more for all kinds of opportunities. So we're real excited about all the dApps and on this call. Anyone who wants to, they have a great idea for a dApp, we will encourage and help them put something together.
Thank you once again for that, Mr. Ron. And once again, it's very nice to know that you guys have these big partnerships coming up in the future that, of course, the Crypto Astronaut can look forward to. So once again, thank you so much, Mr. Ron, for that. All right, so another question. Now let's ask Mr. Sergey. Let's hear from Mr. Sergey. So, my question for you, Mr. Sergey, is what are the major development milestones that Waterfall Network aims to achieve in the following year? And how will these milestones enhance the protocol's performance as well as the ecosystem's growth?
Yeah, thank you for this question. So basically, uh, the short answer is improvements. But basically, we recently have passed. So we have. Um, uh, what DAG allows us to build, again, we have done the technical AMA session already, but I would like to remind to those who maybe missed it. So that's how Waterfall works. And one second. Yeah, that's how Waterfall works. So basically, all of these drops which are falling from the top to the bottom are actually blocks, and it allows us to have parallel block processing. And later on, we are going to implement like virtually unlimited sharding concept, and this will require upgrade to the DAG on the coordination network, and where the parallel chains are coordinating parallel DAGs on the shards. So to make things simple, again, this is not a technical AMA, so I actually will keep things very high level. So we our job is to currently we have parallel block processing, and we achieve certain boost of performance because of that. Now we are working on the concept of parallel execution, and we are working on the two levels of this. One level is on the single shard level, and another level is on the multi-shard level. But it is basically all these tasks, they are getting the solving of the problem of this state sharding, and it allows us to achieve higher scalability, and it allows us to achieve higher decentralization. And when both tasks are solved, it basically brings us to the concept that the more decentralized we're becoming, the more scalable we're becoming. And also it allows us to overcome the like one of the tasks is when, for example, the state size is growing, the node requirements are also growing because its size is increasing. And when we are separating it to basically fragmenting network to many connected and I mean interconnected and interoperating components, it allows us to push node requirements further and further down. So currently we are using like 2-core CPU, 4 gigabytes of RAM, and it may increase with the network utilization, but we don't expect it to increase significantly. But these implementations will allow us to probably even decrease it even more and achieve higher scalability and higher performance in terms of various other metrics, and decrease, for example, the bandwidth requirements, etc. And 2-core CPU, 4 gigabytes of RAM is actually multiple times less than whatever a smartphone has. So these are the plans, and there is a good article describing it, and I will send it going forward, so you will be able to post it for people to get more familiar with the next steps. Thank you for this good question.
Yes, for sure, Mr. Sergey, and we will look forward to that link as well. We would be so happy to share it, of course, with our community members. Thank you so much for that. So another question, Mr. Sergey. So basically, on this space that we're in, we all know that actually, generally, every project encounters specific problems and challenges, right? I mean that is inevitable. But my question for you, Mr. Sergey, is how does Waterfall Network plan to address and overcome potential challenges in scaling its ecosystem, and of course, ensuring the security and robustness of your layer one protocol?
Well, very good question. So, well, there are multiple levels of ecosystem development which we're working on, and there is basically kind of decentralized decentralized ecosystem, like with various dApps and various applications, which is actually more associated. Again, me and Ron, we're both working on the kind of software development provider for associations. So association is actually having a very extensive and we can say efficient process, business development process, which we are seeing right now. Ron already mentioned like multiple partnerships we have. So we have at least 2 announcements every week, and we're probably going to have more going forward because we already see things happening like in the loop. And we are in that sense we do have an efficient process, and this process is scalable. So we're going to, after the launch, which is coming soon, we are going to scale this and further improve. Speaking of security of the network, and basically we're talking about decentralization. And for example, recently we accomplished the test using we were accepted to Google Google Cloud startup program. And we recently accomplished using their test, basically their environment. We accomplished the test with like more than 1.5 million validators. And to our best knowledge, no other technology have ever been tested like this, and most of them is actually not possible to are not capable of delivering something similar. So it doesn't mean that the other technologies are bad. I'm just saying that we are different in that regard. And this allows us to target particular use cases, which are, again, if you are able to do something which others can't, then you can do something, implement some use cases which others are not able to. So it allows us to introduce potentially going forward when we will be further scaling decentralization parameter of our network combined with the scalability in terms of TPS. It allows us to potentially talk about principally new use cases, and yeah, That's our roadmap. So yeah, I hope it addresses the question. And again, speaking of security and more technical deep dive, I suggest review our technical AMA, where my colleagues and myself we were talking about how the finality is achieved, how decentralization contributes to the security of the network, but this is not technical AMA, so we keep it very high level. But please feel free to reach out to us, and we're happy to dive deeper on these topics.
Thank you very much once again, Mr. Sergey, for that. And for sure, guys, like we've mentioned, Waterfall Network held lots of AMAs in the crypto astronaut community, but most of those AMAs are focused on the technical side of things of Waterfall. So if you guys would want to know more, get a better explanation on how their tech things work, do go over to our Binance Live channel, and there you'll be able to see like the replays on the replay section, and you'll be able to find our previous AMAs with Waterfall in there. Thank you so much once again, Mr. Sergi. So now another question that maybe most of our community members are now, curious of. So basically, like we all know, we have various listeners. There are people who are just starting up on crypto. There are people. There are degens. There are newbies, right? It's a variety. So for those for those who are not so techy like me, like me, can you tell us, guys, what level of technical proficiency is required in order to set up a node? And can anyone do it, on their first time, for the first time doing it? Will they be able to do it like me? I'm very question. I think you're muted, Mr. Ron.
Sorry, had dogs barking, so I muted. So anyway, yeah, it's mission critical for us to attract the biggest community possible, and so with that in mind, and I'm far less technical, Sergey. We've been really working hard to make sure that it's a one-click install to run a node. And also we always get asked, does it work on Windows, on Mac, or of course Linux? They're more technical. And so yes, our install, the one-click solution, works on the Mac, on Windows, no problem. And down the road, our roadmap, not yet, includes you be able to even run it on a phone. So we have that. Also, for security interests, for folks who just might be concerned a bit, we are just in the final. It's been approved. We'll be where we have a complete security audit done by a very highly reputable firm. So anyone who would be interested and has worried a little bit about it, they shouldn't, because we went through extensive work on making sure we have our security audit done. So no problem, one-click setup. I don't know, if Sergey, if you have anything else to add.
Yes, thank you for the question. And yeah, so Ron pretty much covered everything. I just have to add that we are reviewing this from let's say three perspectives. So perspective number one, like I'm absolutely not technical user. Downloading one-click setup, can set it up on own personal computer or laptop, and it's like, again, one click, so it is more than one click, but still you're clicking next, and the guide guides you through the process, so it's pretty easy and straightforward. The second thing is actually for more advanced users. So basically they are able to get their servers. During the testing, we were using Headsnap, DigitalOcean, Amazon, and obviously Google, and we appreciate the participation in the Google Startup Program. So these providers were verified, and Google actually was the most extensively verified, because this type of scalability in terms of decentralization hasn't been tested. But basically, it works well. And the third level is actually for also kind of non-technical users. But for example, this is the work with infrastructure provider. So why it is important? So for example, let's say there is a non-technical user who actually set up the node to own computer, but then this computer goes to sleep, or for example, there is interruption in internet, electricity, whatever, different things. So basically, this person, for example, doesn't want to babysit the own node. So infrastructure providers, and we already have multiple of them and multiple are coming, will be able to solve this problem for non-technical users or users who doesn't want to actually themselves monitor their servers, etc. So they have more extensive level of usability. And we are currently, like right now, what is happening, the integration with them. So soon there will be more detailed guides released. The chats with them are already in the very active phase, and yeah, we soon will release more materials on this topic. And yeah, the process should not be complicated for user of any level of technical background. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that is very nice to know, guys. Once again, simplification is the key, I believe. I mean, most crypto users they often get scared entering the crypto space because they believe that it has like some complex process you have to undergo, right? So that's a very great idea, guys. So from the previous answers, you guys mentioned that you guys have started actively collaborating with infrastructure providers. So another, I know maybe this question was touched a little bit, but can you tell us what benefits will the community gain from this collaboration?
Sure. So with infrastructure providers, we give the community an opportunity to pick and choose and select and decide exactly where they want to be a validator and how they want to go about doing it. And so our plan and what we've been doing is we're looking at all the potential types of implementations, whether there's an interest to scale for many validators on one server. How do they want to do it? And the other part is it's really important to have these infrastructure providers be around the world. So you have really quick access. It's not, nothing slowing anything down. So that's our plan. So we think it's really important to collaborate with these guys, and all our meetings, we were at Consensus 2024. One of our main goals was to meet with those guys there, and they're all working to understand, wow, this is really a great opportunity, because what we do is we mutually grow our respective communities. So this gives a lot of opportunity for folks to network. So it's very important for us to do that, where that is one of our prime areas of focus.
Thank you once again for that, Mr. Ron. And I think that's a great thing to know. How this benefits the community. That's very important to know. That's very important to be mentioned here on our Amy for today. So thank you so much for that, guys. And now, a not so technical question, guys. Right? Because basically that's the focus of our Amy for today. So another question, of course, in terms of growth and success, okay, let's talk about the growth strategies that you guys are working on, okay? So, my next question for you guys is, what areas do you plan to attract to in order to keep the ecosystem of Waterfall Network growing, nurturing?
Okay, other than I see crypto astronaut floating up there, which I'd love to be one, really flying in any event. Here's what our plan is, and it's based on my experience in running the EEA. It's really hard for DApp developers to actually create a business for what they want to do. And in my time frame, seeing them in order to make that happen, they really need to figure out what drives enterprise business models and enterprise thinking. And so there's a golden opportunity for us to go after the whole community are building dApps, and to help them understand that they can influence the enterprise, small, but particularly the larger guys, that there needs to be implementations of driving enterprise that's in a decentralized concept. And that if we can combine the two, encourage and empower decentralization, as you know, some of the folks in the communities are not fans of the centralized world. That's very clear from my experience. But at the end of the day, you still have to live with them and work with them. So the best that we could do, and we're working on this. That's more my background. And I'm seeing it work. There's a lot of encouragement for them. Okay, if you want to satisfy all the future roadmaps of how people are going to look at Web 3.0, and we're all about Web 3.0. If there wasn't a need for decentralization, there wouldn't be a Web 3.0. So we need to motivate both parties. We need to work with enterprise, which we know how to do, and we also know how to motivate the community where they feel like there's a purpose for what they're building, where it just doesn't sit and do nothing. What we're building and what we have built and what they could be delivering will enable a whole future roadmap that really hasn't been, I'd say, it's in its nascent stage. And by getting involved with what Waterfall is about, I think is a good opportunity for them to figure out a better purpose to deliver decentralization, and still think about just business and how they can drive their own revenue streams in a decentralized model.
Yeah, that's a very good answer. And basically, I wanted to support that. With the again, it is hard to add anything after what Ron said. But we do have a very loyal, and we sincerely appreciate our community in participating in testing of our testnet and actually in supporting us on the social media. And you are welcome to check our channels and see the level of support we're getting. And we do appreciate this. And community is the key. Essentially, technology can be, you can have best in the world technology, but if nobody is using it, it is useless. So this is the key for our adoption, and we are working hard to make this as easy as possible and to bring performance with every update level. And yeah, we have in place the plans to implement grants for developers, for researchers, for ecosystem development grants, and it will be happening going forward. But grants is not the main thing why people should be joining the network, because I mean, I wouldn't be pointing out, but there are technologies on the market. It's like, we pay you for you to build on our network. Well, that's not how it should be. This is like there are users. We have to actually these users are willing to use the network, and this is why this needs to be built here, because it opens up the opportunities and the doors. And we preserve very community-oriented approach in our go-to-market strategy, in our development, and in our future plans of improvements. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for that, guys. Once again, I totally agree with you guys. To be honest, those are very great things to do in order to, like you mentioned, guys, community is the key. That is basically the most highlight thing of all. I mean, I personally believe on that. I always mention it on most AMAs that community is the key, because without a community that is, backing you up, basically, I don't think any project would ever succeed at all, right? So, yeah, that is a very amazing thing, guys. Thank you so much, Mr. Ron and Mr. Sergey, for that. Now, on to our next question. So, uh, guys, can you tell us what are waterfall networks' next plans in order to expand the geographic reach of its node infrastructure that we were discussing?
Yeah, and so in order to do that, we need to actually have feet on the ground in all these geographic areas. Of course, there's localization if we don't. And so what I've done in the past and at the EA, and we're doing it here, we will have regional representation or representatives who believe in the waterfall protocol. And we will have programs for them in place. So it's more than an ambassador. They're really passionate about wanting to see the success and growing of DApps that are in their own region. So that's a big deal because if we do that, then they also partner, and we already are in conversations with the infrastructure providers there. So it's a perfect marriage. So in order to do that, we're already engaged in talking to folks who would, once the launch is in place, we will have them being directly involved of how to create exposure and understanding, supporting the growth of the infrastructure capabilities there.
Thank you for that. Thank you for mentioning that, Mr. Ron, to us, because basically I know our listeners is from all over the world, right? So they came from different countries, so they might be interested to be one of your maybe ambassador, more than an ambassador for Waterfall, right? I hope they're open to join though.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you what. Anybody online who's in the community, and we have lots of opportunities. And then one of the topics we talk about is marketing. Lots of opportunities and I've seen that happen. That's how things work. So for sure, have them contact us.
Thank you so much for that, Mr. Ron. So, astronaut community, if you guys are interested, of course, the best thing to be in, join their Telegram community in order to contact the team. And once again, to not miss any updates about Waterfall, do follow them on their official Twitter account. And guys, I think we already shared the Medium link that Mr. Sergii shared to us that can help you guys have a better understanding, of course, of Waterfall. Thank you once again, guys. So now, another question. Of course, now in terms of marketing, we want to know how you guys would be able to do this constantly, this marketing plans, right? In order to spread the word more about Waterfall, in order to invite more people. So, can you tell us, guys, what are Waterfall Networks' long-term marketing goals?
Sure. So our long-term goals are pretty clear that there's nothing innovatively different than what is already being done. For example, but we need to execute on them. So it's not just talk. So our plan is to, and that's why we need the regional representation. So they're part of this whole marketing strategy. We want to facilitate rewarding hackathons and all the different geos, localized by folks who live there. And it's not just, they get an award and they move on. We need to help them. And that's why if you have regional representation, they can help them promote. We also help them connect with the enterprises and other businesses to make something happen for their work on the marketing. And then we help to promote them through our marketing resources, like through you guys and all the other traditional marketing vehicles, the Cointelegraphs of the world and all that stuff. What I've seen work really well, and we'll be doing this in a big way, are meetups, presentations, and then get them to talk about what the folks in wherever they are in the meetups of what they'd like to build. And a lot of times it means connecting two parties. For example, in my experience, I've seen folks in this community that even on this call, there are a lot of folks who may have a really great idea for a DApp, right? But they're an idea person. That doesn't mean the idea person is a technical nerdy coder, right? So like Sergii. So I'm more the idea guy. So basically what we can help do is we help to connect them, because what I've seen in many of these meetups that I've presented in the past on Ethereum, I've seen them there. And then they'll ask, I've seen them wave their hand and say, I need some coders. Anybody want to develop the software? So there's a lot that we'll be doing that's, I'm not sure everybody thinks along those lines, but it's more about the not just the community, but how do you connect the folks within the community, and that'll be a part of our plan so that they can come to the site. They can figure, oh, this is how we can network. And so all the traditional stuff, talking on events and stuff, but at the end of the day, creating motivation where they make it easy for folks to really connect and build something that they're really excited about. Because we're basically an operating system. You know, we're not the guys who are building the dApps. We just need to make that operating system really workable for them to build what they want to build.
Thank you once again for that, Mr. Ron. And do you want to add something, Mr. Sergey, to that?
Uh, yeah, well, the only thing again which is left to add, we are process oriented and result oriented. So we currently, I will start with the last point, results. We currently have coverage among probably like a wide variety of crypto and not crypto, but financial media outlets. We also have growing and very engaged community. You're welcome to come and check it. And by the way, this was achieved without like airdrop, so it wasn't like we pay you for you to join us. It is built in a very natural way, and we most sincerely appreciate again users who are supporting us and supporting our cause. And second thing, the process right? So obviously, this wouldn't have been in place if there would be no business process built for this to work. And we do believe that no matter how good the idea is, how individual to the system. And we think that system-oriented approach is actually what is the key for the long-term success. So we are building the system for incentives to be aligned, for everyone to be satisfied with the utilization of the ecosystem, and this is the key for our adoption. And we already built the processes internally. We're going to scale them, advance them, and this is the path to achieving the goals which are ahead of us. Thank you.
Thank you as well for that, Mr. Sergey and Mr. Ron. So I have another last question here. Still, of course, talking about the future for Waterfall, some of your plans. So to wrap up our AMA, guys, I'll drop this last question for Mr. Sergey. So, Mr. Sergey, can you tell us what are Waterfall Networks' plans in order to grow and improve more your node infrastructure?
Yeah, thank you for that. So again, this is the usability. This is the increase of the functionality of the nodes, because we are believers in the mega dApps concept, and which will be further described and presented after the launch. We will be working on the increase of the decentralization and decrease of the node requirements, the way I highlighted it before, and we're happy, again, during the technical AMAs, happy to go in more details on how we're going to do this. But in general, yeah, our job is to make the network usable for every user. We are heading to the mass adoption according to some basically different sources say that we have like currently already a couple of 100 million users, crypto users across the globe. And some sources say that we are heading towards 1 billion users with the speed similar to how internet was adopted, or some sources even say that it goes faster than internet adoption. So we're building the technology for the massive user adoption, and yeah, it involves multiple levels, such as usability advancement, technology advancement, like capabilities advancement, and yeah, that's and being relevant to the current realities. So this is the path. Thank you.
Thank you so much as well, Mr. Sergey, for that. Once again, guys, lots of things to look forward to. They are building an incredibly great platform for us, guys. So make sure, guys, to give them a follow on their social media links if you guys would want to know more about Waterfall. The best thing to do, guys, we highly suggest you guys to watch the replay of our AMA with Waterfall, wherein they focused on explaining the technical side of it. And also, guys, to not miss any great updates about Waterfall, do follow them on Twitter. And for further questions, guys, I know Waterfall Network may be something really hard to understand, right? That's why we provided a medium wherein you guys that can serve as like an educational resource for you guys. Maybe if you guys would want to do your own research, so go over there. The medium is the key for you guys. Also, guys, any detailed information about Waterfall is stated on their website. They also have a white paper in there, so just check everything out in there. And yeah, if for further question, guys, please do join their Telegram community. There will be people or admins or team members to answer you from there, guys. So that is the best place to be. Okay, so I think that is all the questions that I have for you guys, Mr. Ron and Mr. Sergey. So just to wrap up our AMA for today, can I get like a small closing remark from you guys?
Sure. So we're real excited about what's happening. It'll all be happening within this month, within the next 30 days. So follow us on the waterfall.network, what's going on. We're anxious to grow this community. And again, just reminding anyone who has ideas for partnerships or dApps, if you definitely get a hold of us, because we think this is really a win-win situation for growing the community in a decentralized manner. So we're really excited about getting all that happening.
Yeah, again, nothing much left to add, but yeah, if you are yes, if you are the developer or or provider of, I don't know, infrastructure services, oracles, whatever, different type of service, we are pretty much done with the testing. So currently we are in active phase of integrating. So please approach us, and we do have resources right now to integrate before the launch, and you are most welcome to join our ecosystem. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ron and Mr. Sergi, and for all of the enlightening answers you provided us with. Thank you so much, guys. So I think that's everything for now, guys. That's a wrap. So I hope to speak with you guys once again soon. If there are major updates about Waterfall, I hope you guys won't forget Crypto Astronaut.
Hey, no problem. We won't. Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank you
having
so
us.
much, guys, and have a very great day, please.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.